Before 2026 begins, let me ask you something simple. Have you ever noticed how fast years pass but how slowly we change? Calendars change, phones upgrade, trends disappear. But many people enter a new year carrying the same fears, the same habits, the same unfinished emotions. And then we wonder, why does life still feel stuck? Today is not about motivation that excites you for 5 minutes. Today is about preparation, because a new year doesn't change your life. A new mindset does. Before 2026 begins, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Not because something dramatic is about to happen, but because life rarely gives us a chance to stop and honestly reflect. Years don't change us automatically. Time passes whether we grow or not. And often, we enter a new year with excitement, expectations and resolutions, but carrying the same thoughts, habits, and emotional weight from the past. Then we wonder why nothing feels different. The truth is, before a new year begins, something inside us must begin first: clarity. Many people are tired not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing too many things that don't truly matter to them. When your priorities are unclear, your mind becomes noisy. When your priorities are clear, even a busy life feels peaceful. Ask yourself quietly, what deserves my energy and what is simply draining it? Life becomes lighter the moment we choose what truly matters. As we move forward, it's also important to let go. Not everything from the past needs to come with you. Old regrets, unfinished anger, disappointments that taught their lesson long ago, holding on to them doesn't make you stronger, it makes you heavier. Forgiveness is not about approving what happened. It's about freeing yourself from carrying it. You cannot step into a new chapter while rereading the old one every day. Another gentle reminder before the year changes. Consistency matters more than intensity. We often wait for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. Some days it shows up, some days it doesn't. Discipline, however, stays. A small effort done daily quietly changes the direction of your life. Don't aim to transform everything overnight. Aim to show up again and again, even when no one is watching. Relationships also need attention. In a world where replacing is easier than repairing, we forget that deep connections are built through patience and understanding. Before moving ahead, look around your life. Is there someone you've misunderstood instead of listening to? Sometimes one honest conversation can heal years of distance. Success feels empty when relationships are broken, but even ordinary days feel rich when relationships are strong. Spend some time in silence as well. We are surrounded by constant noise, opinions, advice, comparisons. Silence is not emptiness, it's clarity. When you sit quietly with yourself, you start hearing what your heart has been whispering for a long time. Silence helps you realign, not escape, and finally carry gratitude with you. Not because life is perfect, but because life is teaching you. Gratitude doesn't change situations immediately, but it changes how you stand within them. It reminds you that growth is happening, even when progress feels slow. As 2026 approaches, remember, you don't need a perfect plan, a perfect past, or perfect circumstances. You need awareness, patience, and sincerity. Walk into the new year lighter, wiser, and more intentional. Life doesn't rush. It responds when you are ready. As the year moves closer to 2026, it quietly asks us a question. Not loudly, not forcefully, but gently: are you becoming wiser or just older? Time is very honest. It keeps moving forward without asking whether we are ready or not. And often, we get so busy planning the future that we forget to understand ourselves. A new year is not a magical reset button. It simply magnifies who we already are. If we are confused, it carries confusion forward. If we are mindful, it multiplies clarity. Before stepping ahead, it is important to pause and reflect on what truly drives us. Many people run all day, but don't know where they are going. They work hard, stay busy, and yet feel empty. The problem is not effort. The problem is direction. When you know your why, life feels meaningful even on difficult days. Without it, even comfort feels uncomfortable. Take time to ask yourself what kind of life you want to live, not what kind of life looks impressive to others. Another thing we must gently learn before a new beginning is the art of letting go. We often carry emotional weight from years ago, things people said, mistakes we made, expectations that were never met. We think holding on will protect us, but it only drains our energy. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting that the past has done its job of teaching. When you release what hurts, you make space for what heals. We also need to rethink our idea of progress. We are taught to value big changes and instant results, but life doesn't work that way. Real transformation is quiet. It happens when you choose discipline over excuses, when you show up even on days you don't feel inspired. A small habit repeated daily shapes your future more than a big promise made once. Don't underestimate the power of simple routines done with sincerity. As we grow, relationships deserve special attention. Success achieved alone feels hollow. Many conflicts don't need winning, they need understanding. Before moving into the next year, reflect on the relationships in your life. Is there more listening needed than explaining? More patience than reaction? When ego steps back, connection steps forward. Strong relationships don't happen by accident, they happen by intention. Silence is another teacher we often ignore. We fill every moment with noise, screens, conversations, distractions because silence makes us face ourselves. But in that silence lies clarity. When you sit quietly without judging yourself, you begin to understand your patterns, your fears and your strengths. Silence helps you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. Gratitude completes the picture. Not gratitude because everything is perfect, but gratitude because you are still learning, still breathing, still growing. Gratitude grounds you. It reminds you that even challenges are shaping you into someone stronger and wiser. As 2026 approaches, remember that life doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present, patient, and honest with yourself. Walk forward lighter, not burdened by the past, focus not on speed but on direction. When inner growth begins, outer change follows naturally. As we stand close to another turning point in time, the arrival of 2026, it is worth remembering that life doesn't suddenly transform because a calendar changes. Years come and go quietly, but inner growth requires awareness. Many people wait for the right moment, the right year, or the right conditions to change their lives. But change begins the moment we start observing ourselves honestly. Before moving ahead, it helps to pause and ask, am I living consciously, or am I just repeating yesterday in a new year? One of the most important things to understand before stepping forward is the value of clarity. When the mind is cluttered with too many wants, comparisons and expectations, peace becomes rare. We often chase things thinking they will make us happy, only to realize later that they were never truly ours to chase. Clarity comes when we simplify, when we choose meaning over noise. A focused life may look small from the outside, but it feels rich on the inside. As time moves on, emotional baggage becomes heavier if left unattended. Old wounds, unspoken disappointments, and self-blame quietly drain our energy. We tell ourselves we are fine, but inside, we are tired. Healing does not happen by pretending pain doesn't exist. It happens by acknowledging it and choosing not to let it define us. Letting go is not weakness. It is wisdom. When you forgive, you don't change the past, you change your future. Another gentle lesson life teaches us is that progress is built through patience. We live in a world that celebrates speed, but growth has its own pace. Trying to change everything at once often leads to frustration. Instead, steady effort builds strength. A calm mind, a disciplined routine, an honest effort every day quietly create transformation. You don't need to impress the world, you need to be consistent with yourself. Relationships also reflect our inner state. When we are peaceful, we listen better. When we are insecure, we react faster. Before entering a new phase of life, it helps to look at how we treat the people around us. Are we present when they speak? Or are we already preparing a reply? Many misunderstandings are not due to lack of love, but lack of attention. When we choose understanding over ego, relationships heal naturally. Silence is another powerful guide. In silence, there is no audience to impress and no role to perform. It is just you and your thoughts. Initially, silence feels uncomfortable, but over time it becomes comforting. It allows you to see clearly what truly matters and what doesn't. Silence teaches you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Gratitude is the final touchstone before moving ahead. It shifts focus from what is missing to what is present. Gratitude doesn't deny struggles. It gives you strength to face them. When you appreciate how far you've come, you gain confidence for the journey ahead. As 2026 approaches, remember that life doesn't demand perfection. It invites awareness. Move forward with a lighter heart, a calmer mind, and a clearer purpose. When inner alignment is right, outer changes follow naturally. As another year approaches, it quietly invites us to slow down and reflect. Not to rush into planning, not to make long lists of goals, but to first understand ourselves a little better. Time moves forward on its own, but inner growth requires intention. Many people enter a new year with hope, yet carry the same fears, habits, and unresolved emotions from the past. Then they wonder why life feels repetitive. Change does not begin with the calendar, it begins with awareness. Before stepping into what comes next, it is important to develop clarity. Life becomes overwhelming when everything feels equally important. When priorities are unclear, stress increases. When priorities are clear, even challenges feel manageable. Ask yourself what truly deserves your attention, and what is simply consuming your energy. Simplicity is not about doing less, it is about doing what matters with sincerity. Letting go is another lesson we often resist. We hold on to old mistakes, broken expectations, and memories that no longer serve us. We think holding on keeps us safe, but in reality, it keeps us stuck. Letting go does not mean denying the past, it means accepting that it has already taught you what it needed to. When you release emotional weight, you create space for peace. A lighter heart walks further. Consistency also plays a quiet but powerful role in transformation. We admire dramatic success stories, but we rarely see the small daily efforts behind them. Life changes not through occasional bursts of motivation, but through steady discipline. A few mindful habits practiced every day slowly shape your character and your future. Progress may feel slow, but it is always happening when effort is sincere. As we grow, relationships need careful attention. In moments of stress, we often react rather than respond. We listen to reply, not to understand. Many conflicts are not caused by lack of love, but by lack of patience. Before moving forward, reflect on how you show up in your relationships. Sometimes one moment of empathy can heal what years of explanation could not. Strong relationships are built through humility, not control. Silence is another teacher we overlook. The world encourages constant activity, but silence encourages understanding. When you spend time alone without distractions, you begin to hear your own thoughts clearly. Silence helps you recognize patterns, both helpful and harmful. It teaches you to pause before reacting and to choose peace over impulse. In silence, clarity grows. Gratitude anchors everything. When life doesn't go as planned, gratitude reminds us that learning is still happening. It shifts focus from what is missing to what is meaningful. Gratitude doesn't make challenges disappear, but it makes us stronger in facing them. A grateful heart is more resilient, more patient, and more hopeful. As the future draws closer, remember that life is not asking you to become someone new overnight. It is inviting you to become more aware, more intentional, and more compassionate with yourself and others. Walk forward calmly, trusting that sincere effort and inner alignment will guide you to where you need to be. As time quietly moves us toward another year, it gives us an opportunity not to rush, not to compete, but to reflect. Life doesn't announce its lessons loudly. It teaches us softly, through experiences, through pauses, and sometimes through discomfort. Many people believe a new year will automatically bring change, happiness, or clarity. But the truth is, a new year only changes the date. Transformation begins when awareness begins. Before stepping forward, it helps to look inward. Ask yourself not what you achieved, but what you learned. Growth is not always visible. Sometimes it looks like patience where there was anger, acceptance where there was resistance, or calm where there was chaos. These changes don't appear on certificates, but they shape your character. And character determines the quality of your life more than circumstances ever will. One of the most valuable things we can carry into the future is clarity. When we don't know what truly matters to us, everything feels urgent, and life becomes exhausting. We chase too many goals, listen to too many opinions, and compare ourselves with too many people. Slowly, we lose touch with ourselves. Clarity is the courage to say yes to what aligns with your values and no to what drains your peace. A clear mind doesn't mean life has no problems. It means you know which problems are worth facing. Letting go is another quiet form of strength. We often carry the past like a heavy bag, old regrets, guilt, resentment, and unfulfilled expectations. We revisit them again and again, hoping something will change. But the past cannot be edited, it can only be understood. When you accept that some chapters are meant to teach, not to repeat, you free yourself. Letting go is not forgetting, it is choosing peace over pain. Consistency is often misunderstood. We wait for motivation, thinking it will push us forward. But motivation is like the weather, it changes. What truly moves life forward is discipline mixed with compassion for yourself. Small actions done daily have a way of shaping your destiny quietly. You don't need dramatic breakthroughs, you need gentle persistence. Show up even when progress feels invisible. Relationships also deserve reflection. In moments of pressure, we may become reactive, impatient, or distant, but relationships are mirrors. They show us where we need to grow. Listening deeply, apologizing sincerely, and forgiving freely are signs of emotional maturity. No achievement can replace the warmth of meaningful connections. When relationships are nurtured, life feels supported. Silence plays an important role too. In silence, there is no performance, no comparison, no expectation. It is just you being honest with yourself. Silence helps you notice what your mind is holding on to unnecessarily. It teaches you to respond with awareness instead of reacting out of habit. In a noisy world, silence is a form of self-respect. Gratitude completes the journey. Not gratitude because everything is perfect, but gratitude because you are still learning, still breathing, still moving forward. Gratitude grounds you when life feels uncertain. It reminds you that progress is happening, even when it feels slow. As you move ahead, remember this. Life is not asking you to be flawless. It is inviting you to be conscious, consistent, and kind to yourself and to others. When inner alignment comes first, everything else slowly falls into place. As another chapter of time slowly approaches, it gently reminds us that life is not a race to be finished, but a journey to be understood. Many people wait for the next year, hoping it will fix what feels incomplete inside them. But time doesn't heal by itself, awareness does. A new beginning on the calendar is meaningful only when there is a new beginning in the way we think, feel, and respond to life. Before moving ahead, it is important to understand the difference between motion and progress. We can stay busy every day, yet feel like we are going nowhere. True progress begins when our actions align with our values. When we live according to what truly matters to us, even slow steps feel purposeful. Without clarity, life feels like constant effort without fulfillment. Clarity is not found outside, it is discovered when we listen within. Emotional baggage is another weight many people carry silently. Old disappointments, unspoken pain, and self-criticism slowly drain our energy. We often believe holding on will make us stronger or more cautious, but in reality, it keeps us tired. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it is an act of self-respect. When you accept what you cannot change and focus on what you can, peace naturally follows. Growth also requires patience. In a world obsessed with quick results, we forget that lasting change happens gradually. We want instant success, instant happiness, instant clarity. But life unfolds layer by layer. Small habits practiced daily shape our character over time. Even when progress is not visible, consistency is quietly building strength. Trust the process. Especially on days when effort feels unnoticed. Relationships reflect how we relate to ourselves. When we are calm inside, we listen better. When we are unsettled, we react quickly. Many misunderstandings don't come from lack of love, but from lack of presence. Giving someone your full attention is one of the simplest and most powerful forms of care. Strong relationships are built not on perfection, but on patience, humility, and willingness to understand. Silence is a powerful teacher we often ignore. We fill every moment with noise to avoid facing our thoughts. But silence offers clarity. When you sit quietly, you begin to notice patterns, what triggers you, what drains you, and what truly brings peace. Silence helps you pause before reacting, allowing wisdom to guide your response instead of impulse. Gratitude changes how we experience life. It doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means recognizing growth even within them. Gratitude grounds us in the present and reminds us that life is supporting us in unseen ways. When you appreciate what you have, you approach the future with confidence rather than fear. As you move toward the next phase of life, remember that you don't need to have everything figured out. You need sincerity, patience, and awareness. Walk forward gently, learning from each step, trusting that inner alignment will guide outer outcomes. Life responds best when we move with intention rather than pressure. As life slowly guides us toward another year, it offers a quiet invitation to pause and reflect, not to judge ourselves harshly, and not to rush into change, but to become more aware. Time passes without effort, but growth requires intention. Many people assume that a new year will bring a new life, yet they carry the same habits, fears, and expectations forward. Real change doesn't begin with the calendar. It begins with consciousness. Before moving ahead, it helps to ask yourself where your energy is going. Energy is precious. When it is scattered across too many worries, comparisons, and distractions, life feels heavy. When it is directed with clarity, even challenges feel manageable. Clarity does not mean knowing every step of the future. It means knowing what deserves your attention right now. A focused mind creates a peaceful life. Another important lesson is learning to release what no longer serves you. Many of us hold on to past mistakes, regrets, and emotional wounds long after their lesson is complete. We replay conversations, revisit disappointments, and quietly blame ourselves or others. But holding on doesn't protect us, it drains us. Letting go is not about erasing the past. It is about freeing yourself from carrying it into the future. Peace begins the moment you stop fighting what has already happened. Progress also requires patience and consistency. We admire sudden success, but we rarely notice the small daily efforts behind it. Life changes quietly through discipline, not dramatically through motivation. Some days you will feel inspired, some days you won't. Showing up anyway is what builds strength. A small habit practiced sincerely every day has the power to reshape your life over time. Relationships play a vital role in our sense of fulfillment. In moments of stress, we often react rather than respond. We listen to reply, not to understand. Yet most conflicts are not caused by lack of love, but by lack of presence. Being fully available, even for a few minutes, can transform a connection. When ego steps aside, understanding grows. Relationships thrive on empathy, not control. Silence is another powerful guide. We often avoid silence because it forces us to face ourselves. But in silence, clarity emerges. It allows us to notice our thoughts without judgment and understand our emotional patterns. Silence teaches us to pause before reacting, to choose wisdom over impulse. In a noisy world, silence becomes a form of inner strength. Gratitude gently shifts our perspective. It doesn't deny challenges, it helps us stand stronger within them. When you appreciate what you have, you stop living in constant lack. Gratitude brings balance, reminding you that growth is happening even when progress feels slow. It anchors you in the present while giving you confidence for the future. As you move forward, remember that life is not asking you to be perfect or to have everything figured out. It is asking you to be aware, patient, and kind to yourself and others. Walk ahead with intention rather than pressure. When your inner world is aligned, the outer world begins to respond in meaningful ways. As the days quietly move us toward another year, life offers a gentle pause, a moment to look within rather than ahead. We often believe the next year will bring answers, happiness, or clarity, but life doesn't work on deadlines. It works on understanding. A new year does not automatically make us wiser, reflection does. If we don't pause, we repeat. If we don't learn, we relive. Before moving forward, it helps to become aware of what is truly important. Many people feel exhausted not because they are doing too much, but because they are doing too much of what doesn't matter to them. When priorities are unclear, the mind becomes restless. When priorities are clear, even challenges feel meaningful. Clarity is not about having everything figured out. It's about knowing what deserves your energy and what quietly steals it away. Another quiet lesson is learning to release the weight of the past. We often carry memories, regrets, and unresolved emotions as if holding on will somehow protect us. But holding on does not heal, it hardens. The past has already completed its role as a teacher. Revisiting it repeatedly does not bring new lessons, only new pain. Letting go is not forgetting, it is choosing peace over replay. When you release emotional weight, you create space for growth. Life also teaches us that progress is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It happens when you choose discipline over excuses, when you show up even on days you feel uninspired. We wait for motivation, but motivation is inconsistent. Consistency, however, is dependable. Small actions done daily with sincerity quietly change the direction of your life. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough, you need gentle persistence. Relationships deserve special care as well. In moments of pressure, we often become reactive. We want to be right rather than kind. But relationships don't grow through winning arguments, they grow through understanding hearts. Listening without interrupting, apologizing without defending, forgiving without keeping score, these are signs of inner maturity. A peaceful life is built on healthy relationships, not isolated success. Silence is another guide that often goes unnoticed. We fill our days with noise, opinions, screens, expectations, because silence forces us to meet ourselves honestly. But silence is not empty, it is revealing. In silence, you begin to recognize patterns in your thoughts and emotions. You learn when to pause instead of react. Silence gives you the space to respond wisely rather than impulsively. Gratitude ties everything together. Not gratitude because life is perfect, but gratitude because growth is happening. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is meaningful. It builds resilience. When you are grateful, you stop measuring life only by results and start appreciating the journey. As you move ahead, remember that life is not asking you to be flawless or fast. It is asking you to be conscious, patient, and sincere. Walk forward lightly, carrying lessons instead of burdens. When your inner world becomes steady, the outer world begins to make sense. Life doesn't rush you, it responds when you are ready. As 2026 approaches, remember this. You don't need a new year. You need a new way of living. Live with clarity, walk with patience, work with consistency, love with understanding, and trust that life rewards sincerity always, eventually. The future is not waiting for you to rush. It is waiting for you to be ready. Thank you.